My second video about the horse and two goats, written by R.K. Narayan. Before starting the video, I will say that please like, share, subscribe it. बेल आइकन को जरूर दबाइएगा. और as we start, of the 700,000 villages dotting the map of India, Kritam was probably the tiniest, indicating on the district survey map by a microscopic dot, but its size did not prevent its giving itself the grandiose name Kritam, which meant in Tamil coronet or crown. On the brow of this subcontinental, the village consisted of less than 30 houses. Only one of them built with brick and cement, painted a brilliant yellow and blue all over with gorgeous carving of gods and gargoyles on its balustrade. It was known as the big house. The other houses distributed in 4 streets were generally of bamboo, thatched straw, mud and other unspecified material. Muni was the last house in the 4th street beyond which stretched the field. In these prosperous days, Muni had owned a flock of 40 sheep and goats and sailed forth every morning, driving the flock of the highway a couple of miles away. There he would sit on the pedestal of the clay statue of a horse while his cattle grazed around. He carried a crook at the end of bamboo pole and snapped foliage from the avenue. Trees to feed his flock. He also gathered for fagots and dry sticks, bundled them and carried them home for fuel and sunset. His wife lit domestic fire at dawn, boiled water in a mud pot, threw it into a handful of millet flour, added salt, and gave him his first nourishment of the day. When he started out, she would put in his hand a packed lunch. Once again, the same millet cooked into a little ball, which he could swallow with a raw onion at midday. His fortune had declined gradually and unnoticed. From a flock of 40 which he drove into a pen at night, his stroke had now come down into the 2 goats which were tethered to the trunk of drumsticks tree which grew in the front of his hut, and from which occasionally Muni could shake down drumsticks. This morning he got 6. He carried them in which a sense of triumph, although no one could say preciously who owned the tree. It was his because he lived in its shadow. His wife said, "If you were content with the drumstick leaves alone, I could boil and salt some for you." "Oh, I'm tired of eating those leaves. I have carving to stew the drumstick of the sauce, I tell you. You have only 4 teeth in your jaws, but you are carving in for big things. All right, get the stuff for the sauce and I will prepare for it for you. After all next year, you may not be alive to ask anything. But first get me all the stuff, including a measure of rice or millet, and I will satisfy your unholy carving. Our store is empty today. Dal, chili, curry leaves, mustard, coriander, gingerly oil, and all 1 large potato. Go out and get all this." He repeated the list after her in the order not to miss any item, and walked after stop in the 3rd street. She again repeated the items. She said dal, chili, curry leaves, mustard, coriander, gingerly oil, and 1 large potato. Muni sat patiently on a up Muni sat patiently on an upturned packing case below the platform of the shop. The shopman paid no attention to him. Muni kept clearing his throat, coughing and sneezing until the shopman could not understand it anymore. On demanding, "What ails you? You will fly off that seat into the gutter if you sneeze so hard, you man." Muni laughed inordinately in order to please the shopman at being called young man. The completely won the shopman over. He liked his scene of humor to be appreciated. By thus humoring the shopman, Muni could have always asked for one or two items of food, promising repayment later. Some days the shopman was in a good mood and gave in, and the shopman was in a good mood and he gave the items some days. Sometimes he would lose his temper suddenly and bark at Muni for daring to ask for credit. The shopman said, "If you could find 5 rupees and a quarter, you will have paid off an officiant debt. How much have you got now? I will pay you everything on the first of the next month, as always, and whom do you expect to rob by then?" Muni failed, coughed, and mumbled, "My daughter has sent words that she will be sending me money." "Have you a daughter?" sneered the shopman. "And she is sending you money. For what purpose, may I know?" "Birthday, 15th birthday," said Muni quietly. "Birthday. How old are you?" Muni repeated weakly, no, not being sure of it himself. 50. He always calculated his age from the time of the Great Famine, when he stood as high as a parapet around the village well. With so many famine occurring, the shopman felt encouraged when other customers stood around to watch and comment. "More likely you are 70, he said to Muni. "You also forget that you mentioned a birthday 5 weeks ago, when you wanted castor oil for your holy bath." At this, Muni unbrusquely rose and moved off. He later told his wife, "That scoundrel would not give me anything, so go out and sell the drumsticks for what they are worth." He flung himself down in the corner to wake up from the fatigue of his visit to the shop. His wife said, "You are getting no sauce today, nor anything else. I can't find anything to give you to eat. Fast till the evening. It will do you good. Take the goats and be gone now." The cried and added, "Don't come back before the sun is down." He knew that if he obeyed her, she would somehow conjure up some food for him in the evening. Only he must be careful not to argue and irritate her. Her temper was undependably in the morning but improved by evening time. She was sure to go out and work, grind corn in the big house, sweep and scrub somewhere, and earn enough to buy foodstuff and keep dinner ready for him in the evening. Unleashing the goats from the drumstick tree, Muni started out driving them ahead and uttering white cries from time to time in order to argue them on. He passed through the village with his head bowed in the thought. He did not want to look at anyone or be accosted. A couple of cronies laughing in the temple corridor hailed him, but he ignored their calls. The shopman had said that he was 70 at 71 only, waited to summoned by God. When he was dead, what what would his wife do? They had lived in each other's company since they were children. He had been told on their day of wedding that he was 10 years old and she was a progeny nun. Perhaps a large progeny would have brought him the blessings of the gods. Only on the outskirts, or did he lift his head and look up the earth and build the goats until they meandered along to the foot of the horse statue on the edge of the village. He sat on the pedestal for the rest of the day. Advantage of this was that he could watch the highway and see the lorries and buses pass through to the hills, and it gave him a sense of belonging to a larger world. The pedestal of the statue was broad enough for him to move around as the sun traveled up. In the next video, we will do the part 2 of the horse and two goats. Thank you.